but it's certainly not a requirement at this point.
It's not something the municipality is tracking?
No.
No,
Not at this point.
okay. And further to what Councillor Wells said, the province, by trying to implement this, what's the reason here? Wasn't it just last year Montreal dumped how many millions of gallons of septage in the St. Lawrence River? And here they're going to hammer us over pumping out a few tanks that are going to go into the sand? Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Thank you for that comment. The one other thing I'd like to say on this, and that is, I remember when it did come up in the context of the source water plan, source protection plan, I recall, and I don't mean to put words in his mouth, but I recall a conversation that I had with Mr. Enslin about this, and the operative word may be inspection. Doesn't necessarily mean digging it up and pumping it out. If the municipality, in order to implement this, if it does happen, identifies certain qualified inspectors, and those could be the same contractors that do the installations, it may, and I stress may, be satisfactory to have that certified inspector simply look at the system, identify in his or her mind that it's functioning without having to dig it up and pump it out. Now, I'm not sure whether that's what we would be able to have and still meet the requirement or not, but that is a possibility, as I recall from discussing it with Mr. Enslin a couple of years ago. Councillor Geisens.
Thank you. As a person who does have a septic tank and a field bed, you have to dig it up to see if it's working. You can't not dig it out and look inside your septic tank to see what's going through. And if your field bed is not working, well, you got to dig that up as well and have a look at it. So theoretically, to say that there won't be an inspection, if they want to do what they say they're going to do, everybody's going to have to either dig out their septic tank when the person comes, and they may want to have a look at the field bed, because that's, as long as your septic system is working and your field bed is working, you have no problem.
Exactly.
And if the septic tank doesn't work anymore, then your field bed will plug up, and that'll be a real problem. There's a lady in Cortland who had to spend $20,000 to dig up a field bed. It was in her front yard, and in the back there was a drainage, so you couldn't put a new field bed in the back because it was too close to the drain, and they had to dig out, I think it was about 10 feet deep, and put new sand in and all new piping and everything like that. So $15,000 later it's working again. Ouch. Are on sewer saying, oh, well, we got to pay a lot. Well, if you got to put in a field bed and a septic tank and everything like that, you're probably talking somewhere between $25,000 to $30,000 now.
Okay, we've had a very good discussion, and I think Councillor Wells had moved that we receive this information and that we endorse the position taken by this municipality. I will call the question. Those in favor of that? No one is opposed to that, so it is carried. Thank you, Councillor. That takes us then to motions, notices of motions. No one has any that we're aware of for this evening at least, so we'll go to other business. And I think we'll deal with staff first, so starting with Ms. Webb, anything?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Baird?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Acting County Manager?
Excuse me, nothing this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Clerk's office?
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Cridlin?
Nothing this evening.
Ms. Miranda?
Nothing, thank you.
Oh boy, we're on a roll here. Ms. Robinson?
Nothing this evening.
Oh, there you go. All right. We'll see if the councillors are as good. Start with Councillor Brunton. Anything for other business this evening?
On our little iPad here, I got an email on the from James Johnson on the farm tax ratio thing we discussed. Where's that going? I've read through it, and I just wonder, was there some report, a new report coming forward, or what's happening with that?
Mr. Ford?
My understanding is that is something that a question was asked by council when Mr. Johnson attended the council meeting on my behalf. And so he's, excuse me, he pulled that report out that we prepared 4 years ago when a similar situation, I wouldn't say identical, but a similar situation occurred with the change in farm assessment. We will be bringing a report to council. I think it's scheduled for the latter part of May for the, that we do every year regarding tax ratios and all of that stuff. Excuse me, that will be addressed at that time. The reason why Mr. Johnson sent that report around to everybody, excuse me, everybody today, was in response to the question that was asked a few weeks ago.
Well, my only question on that one, from what I've read, we can't change much of that. There's a few things we can change, but is the farm ratio not set? It's 0.25, is it not?
The farm, Mr. Chairman, the farm ratio was set at 0.25 when the changes in assessment occurred years ago.
And we can't change that?
Well, no, we can change it. We can make it lower. We can't make it higher.
Okay.
And as the report points out, because at the time that report was prepared, I think 80% of the tax impact was on residential properties. I think today it's 86 or 87%. So that means that for every dollar that there's a reduction somewhere, 86 cents of it's paid by the residential taxpayer. So I'm not saying the council shouldn't look at that, but you have to be mindful of the fact that when you poke it in here, it's going to stick out someplace else.
Right.
A number of municipalities, and we're getting some information because someone asked, I think Councillor Columbus asked for municipalities that have changed their farm tax ratio. We have some, but we don't have, I wouldn't say we have them all, but we have a smattering of them. There's a lot of municipalities that have not, and a lot of municipalities are planning not to. I don't know of any of them that are going to make the ratio that they have reduced further. I've heard no noise about that. I do know that there was one or two municipalities that we did contact who would like to reverse it and go back to 25. But once you've moved away from a tax ratio, you can't go back.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. The reason I asked, I just, I looked at the commercial and, when I look at the downtown and the concerns we got there, maybe we could do something, but we'll wait till we get the report and go from there.
Okay, did you have another item?
Yes. I
Okay,
have.
on this same item, I think Mayor Luke wanted
All
to
right.
say something.
Yeah,
or
just,
ask
just
a
a little
question.
more information quickly. I did get a call Friday from, the name escapes me, but it was a farming magazine reporter doing an article on this very thing, and he asked me of Norfolk County what our rate was, farmland comparison to residential. I said 0.25. Are you considering lowering it? I said at this very moment, no, it's not on the table. That's not to say this council won't look at it. And I said to him, is the trend to go? And he said, to go lower, and he said, for the most part, no. I said, can you tell me one municipality that has lowered it? He said, I've only know of one at this point. It was Halton, and they lowered it from 25 to 20.
Thank you. Okay, Councillor Brunton.
Okay,
your other item?
just in the memo package that we got with our agendas, Tracy Borland gave I asked Candy for some further information on that report she's provided in there, and one is the liability. I'd like to know a little bit more about the types of claims.
Could you give us a page reference, Councillor?
Well, that particular one is,
Got it. Page 11 of your information package?
no, that's the government
Oh, I'm sorry.
deals. It's
Page 17?
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
yeah. And kind of wanted to know some more information on that, and I know we're looking at our insurance. I'm certainly not happy with it, in my opinion, but that's it. The other one I've asked for is the government deals where we sold 52 items for $33,000. And I asked for a list of what we sold. Any fire trucks in there, I wonder? Anyways, that's the other one I'd like to get more information on, if I could. And the other one I see I'm disappointed in, Mr. Ford's letter, where we never got another grant application for a 150 community infrastructure program. We don't seem to be very successful on anything, so thank you.
On this item, Councillor Height?
Yeah, on the insurance
Yep.
summary, yeah, I was wondering, I think it would be beneficial for us to see if we could see claims that are in the pipe, because as I understand it, it would take a year, or it takes time to have these in order. Is that how it works?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I'd like to see those to see if we're catching up or we're getting a bigger backlog in that report if it does come.
Yes?
On the
Councillor
insurance, and I don't mind, I know we're looking at it, but I know, and we've increased our deductible in the last couple of years, have we not, considerably?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, I believe in 2014 we increased to
Right.
$75,000.
Yeah, anyways, I'm doing my own insurance right now, and I'm totally frustrated with the way the system works, so, thank you.
Now, before I move on, though, Councillor, you've asked for a bit of additional information, and that is able to be provided to you, I think?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I've already
Okay.
emailed staff.
Okay, fine. I heard Councillor Height then make reference to a report. I don't think we're getting any report coming back that I'm aware of, but if that information can be circulated to everyone without too much trouble?
Yes, and Mr. Chair, for clarification, could I ask again what Councillor Height is asking for, just
Yeah.
for the number of current claims in each area?
No, on the information memo that you will be
Yes.
bringing back to us?
Yes.
No, ones that are in the pipeline now.
So numbers or the nature of the claims?
I don't know, more information. You decide.
Okay, thank you.
And the only reason I raise this, Councillor, if it is a report, then we as council have expectations in terms of timing and so on, and I didn't get that necessarily from this discussion, so thank you. Okay, Councillor Black, anything for other information this evening? Thank you. Councillor Wells.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Yes, I do have, if anybody has their information package here, and if you turn to page 15, I just want to thank Brent Wallace for this information that he has provided, and for the listening public, they have asked about videotaping of the council, and if you go to norfolkcounty.ca/YouTube, any member of the public with internet access will be able to view these meetings after 5 p.m. on the following day of the meeting at no cost. So anybody wanting to see what we are doing, go tomorrow to that station.
It's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Wells is the star on this one.
And while I am on my information package, Mr. Chair, just a couple of little items on page 17 of the information package, and deals with insurance claims. And the one that I'm interested in is there have been a total of 14 property claims, and one of them is very important to me. They're important to everybody here, but Port Dover Skate Park sustained graffiti from vandalism. Cost to remove the graffiti was $4,407. So for people who think that they can go up and just, paint and it's so nice, somebody has to pay to have that removed. And it is the taxpayers of Norfolk County that has to do that. And there is an example, $4,341 or $4,407 to remove that graffiti. That's not a pleasant piece of information. And while I'm there, Mr. Chair, on the same one, I wonder if somebody could answer this. A wing on a plow hit a county truck costing $3,974. How could a wing on a plow on a county truck, a wing on a plow hit a county truck?
Just in the parking lot at the,
I don't know.
This was in the parking lot at one of the yards. So the wing on the plow hit one of the parked pickup trucks. So there's two county vehicles involved, the plow truck and the parked county truck.
Well, I figured that out all by myself. That doesn't answer how that could happen. Oh, okay, that explains it. And this just boggles my mind when I read this. A fire truck sustained $1,357 in damages when being moved in a field. Oh, is that what happened? I'm going to stay in Port Dover.
Thank you. Councillor Sonnenberg, anything for this evening? Okay, Councillor Height?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a few things here on your, on the list here. We were given the thing for Port Dover Marina, some of the incomes on it. Right here, it was left on our desk. And I was wondering if I could ask the treasurer, I noticed the Port Dover Marina Reserve Fund transfer, it stays flat at 210K over the next, I don't know how many years. In those transfers, do we ever account or add like a CPI into those?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we haven't indexed any of the contributions to any of the reserves or reserve funds. There's only one or two, but they're not big ticket ones. And that's one of the things that we have had on our sort of discussion table in terms of what we're going to do with reserves and reserve funds on a go-forward basis. The dollar amount for all of them, all the transfers that are being made for roads and fire equipment and this piece of equipment, that hasn't changed in probably 3 or 4 years. So if you take a 2% increase in inflation every year, we're pushing 8 or 10 or 12% behind. And it's staying level, and the cost of replacing things is going up. So what I think, without suggesting what Councillor Height's angling for, the comment about do we index it is no, we don't, and we probably should.
We probably should, because if we're not accounting for inflation, it's costing us money, right?
Exactly.
Are there ever other revenue generation tools like in the reserve that are similar to this, where it's a lower amount and flatlined, where we could do that now?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I can't answer the question for all of the reserves and reserve contributions because we've got dozens of them. But generally speaking, all of the contributions to all the reserves and reserve funds, I would be safe in saying that a vast majority of them are flatlined. Very few of them, as I said just a few minutes ago, only a few of the minor ones are actually indexed. And I don't understand historically why only those ones are indexed, but the rest of them aren't.
Okay.
But no, I would say that upwards of 3/4 of them are not indexed.
Okay, because this would be an easy one to index because it's based off the revenue off of the marina itself. That would be an easy one. Okay, thank you for that. Now, as Councillor Wells noted, we are now on YouTube. The only problem with that, we still have the same halftime show, don't we? Remember, I ran for council, so I didn't have to listen to that song over and over and over again. Mr. Baird, when are you going to bring us something for the halftime show for the people? It's been 2 and some years. They're probably watching the same commercial. ECDEV, video editing computer.
There's lots of good content. I don't look after what goes on the halftime show, but I think there's lots of good content that perhaps could be.
That we could put something on there?
In fact, perhaps being a day later, it's probably just the full video feed. They just cut out the halfway point. That would only be live, but point well taken.
Okay, because we're global now. Okay, we're moving up in the world now, and we're moving even further because on our telecommunications and advisory committee the other day, thank you, Mr. Brunton, for coming to that. We were working with a new partner. Our funding initiative that we took on with Quick and ExecuLink has brought some partners out of the woodwork. We have lots of new dance partners. The newest one that's coming down is Silo Wireless out of Brantford or Brant County. Okay, we issued a letter of support to them for the Connect to Innovate funding. And they're going to do, by the looks of it, Wilsonville, Kelvin, Wyndham Center, down Brant Road, over to Bill's Corners, all the way down to Walsh. And it'll be a very similar project to what we've done with the fiber optics for ExecuLink in the amounts of money. That's what they'll be looking at. So they came in and they spoke to us with a presentation, and it was very good. And you could really tell with them they're a really growing company, and the internet is obviously making them some money, and they're hiring and expanding, and there's even hope for Rattlesnake Harbor, Mr. Chair. So, all right. Well, one of the problems that they were experiencing, though, and that's where to qualify for this Connect to Innovate funding, you need to pick up a MUSH customer, so municipality, university, school, or hospital. and there just isn't a whole lot in the Rattlesnake Harbor and Walsh area. So one of the things we're looking at, as you'll recall, Norfolk County, we signed up for our fire hall in Victoria. It's already been issued for the next 4 years, I believe. So I think the hope is that we'll put it in there so that they could try to get the funding and still be able to, RFQ that or tender for that particular thing. And it's causing a dilemma for them to get down to Port Ryerson. So what they're looking for is some of the bigger businesses or some of the big farms that require internet down and around that area, and they don't know who to go to. I know there's Scotland, they'll want to pick them up if they're not already with a supplier. I think Cedar Keg, isn't that Cider Keg? Is close. And I'm not sure how we would get that information out to other ISPs. And the reason why I'm bringing that up now is another dance partner has entered in, and they're coming in and they're actually asking us to supply them with information. Personally, that's their job, it's their business case, but they're looking for households and data like that, but I'm not sure what we would have for data to send them off, or how we would help them in that case.
I'm not sure whether anyone from staff can offer a comment. Is it as simple as things like knowing how many residential properties there might be up and down the concession roads? In other words, the GPS or the GIS system rather would give them that data, or?
I'm not sure. Like, there was a list for that third partner that I think they're going to come to our next meeting. We're going to try to get them in for that. But for this one in particular, he's looking for some bigger farmers and bigger businesses like down that chain to try to pick up as customers.
Perhaps, Councillor, what would be helpful to us around the council table is if there was a map showing the potential route that this ISP is talking about. You could forward that, or staff could forward that to us, and then individual councillors might very well know of businesses along those routes.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I can do that. I can get that over to Mr. Baird, and if he could help them out, push that along, that would be great. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. And well done to the committee. On this matter, Councillor Sonnenberg.
Yes, Councillor Height mentioned the fact that people are getting tired of hearing the same song played at intermission time. They should check into a new remote. My remote has two features. One says off, one says mute. If you don't like what's on the screen, turn it off. Thank you.
May we please move on? Oh, and I guess not. Councillor Breton.
Just on the TV part of things, the complaints I get are people don't get to see what happens at 3 o'clock a lot of the times. I mean, you got I don't know if somebody's watching it at 3 o'clock today or running the camera today, was it?
Our deputy clerk can run it from her desk here, so it was on starting at 3 o'clock.
Apparently, it's a case of people don't understand, or I guess that we're on at 3 o'clock. And I don't know how I'm surprised at the number of people, that's their form of entertainment, but anyways, they don't seem to tune in at 3 o'clock, and in some cases, I guess they don't get it at 3 o'clock. I don't know, I guess you say you can get it on YouTube now. Well,
yes.
A lot of people that watch it, I guess, don't know how to run YouTube. I don't.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that it's somehow maybe, but that's the only camera that runs the whole.
No, there's more than one.
No, but when there's nobody in the camera room?
I think that
yeah, it only comes off of there.
I saw two different angles today when you were running it, Jill. So go ahead and explain that if you wish.
Thank you. Through the chair, I was just going to reiterate what you said. So yeah, we can run it from our system here, and we have a few angles. It's maybe not as great a production value as someone actually volunteering in the booth, but we do use the same system out here.
Okay. Well, I'm just wondering if we could maybe somehow advertise it better to these people. I don't. Sure, the younger generation maybe can clue in on YouTube and things like that, but there's a lot of elderly people that do watch it, and probably a lot of them don't even have computers. So,
Madam Deputy Clerk, does the cable feed with our cable company start at 3 o'clock as well? As soon as we're producing a signal, they're transmitting it, are they?
Yes, through the chair, that is correct. We have had some issues with our cable provider, but we actually had those rectified today. We had a technician here, and so everything seems to be running very smoothly. So I anticipate moving forward that it'll be a smooth
Okay.
broadcast.
Same topic, Councillor Height?
To get the word out further, we could put it in our advertising. We send it out every 2 weeks or every week anyway. We could put that out there, the YouTube channel, so that our rural customers can finally watch the show as well. I get complaints too from a lot of people that really like to watch it when they get home at 5 o'clock, and now it's on at 3 and they're working, they miss a lot of it, so.
Okay. I
Thank
think
you.
staff have heard that request, and in our next general big advertising, at least in the newspapers, I'm sure they'll do something for us. Is that sufficient then, Councillor? Okay. Councillor Geisens, any other business? Thank you. Councillor Columbus.
Yeah, just title it the Clown Show. That's what Mr. Ted Whitworth used to call it. Going back to this page 17 of the information package, I'm curious to know why automobile claims have more than doubled. It's kind of interesting why that would have happened. Just wonder if when Candy gives us that report, if you can kind of highlight that area. And the other thing, I had a question, I believe it's under waste management, so it would go to Lee. I've had people calling where they can dispose of their mercury vapor light bulbs and batteries. You know, you have this day in the fall and the spring for hazardous waste, but they want to get rid of it like monthly. Where's the depots for that type of thing?
Through the chair to council, we're not licensed to be able to receive that material on a monthly basis or any of that sort of stuff. We're only able to do that when we have that. I can certainly look up for you. There are websites that the province has put together that indicate where every place is that you can do that. So I can have staff prepare a memo or an email and that we can distribute to council so that you have that information. If you also ask them to call in, if you receive any of those other types of phone calls, if you ask them to come in, county staff can certainly look up for them where they can dispose of that material for them.
Because they tell me if it's not readily available, they just throw them in the garbage.
Which is why we will do whatever is possible to help them, and lots of times we look up all the information for people online, find it, and provide it for them.
I'll look forward to that report. Thanks.
Thank you. Mayor Luke?
3 quick items, Mr. Chair. This little council information package tonight is got a workout, and that's a good thing. But on page 10, I was pleased to see from our senior leadership team an update on the corporate customer service strategy. You recall last year, you and I were on tour? On tour and looked at how customer service calls and inquiries were handled in the city of Kitchener, town of Woodstock, and the city of Tilsonburg. And the advisory committee, a subcommittee of this customer service committee, is going through and will be making recommendations in a report that will come to this council before summer break. So I want to just say that that committee is still alive and well, but it takes time to put these things together, and I appreciate what they're doing. So that's the one thing. Second thing is, I don't know if anyone else got this. I get a Impact News over the internet on a regular basis, and I don't see anybody else's name on here, just to me, although members of council may get this. This is a March 2017 newsletter from Impact about industrial wind turbines. Study is published by them finally. They did in 2016 an assessment update, and they did a in advance of their, assessment update in 2016, Impact completed a 2016 base year study on the impact the proximity to an industrial wind turbine has on the assessments of residential properties. And the study was conducted in response to a growing number of industrial wind turbines in Ontario and requests for information about the effect on their property values from the stakeholders. Almost finished here. Impact's findings concluded that the 2016 current value assessment of properties within proximity of an IWT are assessed at their current value and are equitably assessed in relation to homes at a greater distance from the IWTs. Further, By analyzing sale prices, our findings concluded that there is no statistically significant impact on sale prices of residential properties in these market areas resulting from proximity to an industrial wind turbine. Full study is available on impact.ca. I just wanted to share that information because I don't think you folks got that. Interesting. And finally, Mr. Chair, I need some help from council. I put something on your desk that looks like this with a staple in it earlier. You've probably read it. This gentleman has called me twice, and he is looking for nominations of local community volunteers and leaders that have made a difference in communities. And he would like 3 or 4 nominees from Norfolk County. This is to help celebrate Canada 150. These are folks that might show leadership and volunteerism in arts, sports, culture, recreation, or just simply have a leading passion for their community. I have one name that I have come up with myself to forward, and since every one of you represent a ward in the county, if you have any names that come to mind, if you could in the next day or two email them, I have nomination forms. I will fill them out and send them to him. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think this is a great way to recognize Canadian, across Canada, local people that make a difference. So if we could get 3 or 4 nominations, that would be wonderful. If some of them could be recognized, they get some kind of an award and recognition. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mayor Luke, did you say that we could provide our names to you, or that you have a nomination form that we could fill out? I'm sorry, I just didn't.
Either way, Mr. Chair,
Okay.
there is online, and I got it today, a nomination form to fill in. So whether you want to fill it out and do it yourself, that'd be appreciated. Or if you send the information to me, well, you wouldn't know what to give me unless I gave you the form.
No, that's right.
Contact
So
me.
if-
Contact me, I'll look after you. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Height, did you want to make a comment on one of the items that the mayor brought up?
Yes, I did, Mr. Chair. It was
Okay.
the customer service strategy. I'm not sure, has there been discussion on a 311 service? Because I'm sure you've crossed that if you were out touring other municipalities.
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, certainly that is one of the items that we are discussing.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, I just have one item that I'm going to bring up, and I'm not asking for any action on it, but you as councillors did see an email back and forth between myself and Mr. Ford, I think, regarding natural gas infrastructure, i.e. pipelines, that have been appealed by one property owner in particular across a number of Lake Erie shoreline municipalities. And Mr. Ford responded that and I knew this, that MPAC is coordinating, if you like, dealing with that appeal, but a number of our neighboring municipalities have enlisted the work of what's called the municipal. Thank you. The Municipal Tax Advisory Group, which I think is a group within the municipalities that can deal with some of these appeals. And I had wondered if there would be merit in having ourselves through our moral support, if nothing else, or perhaps a few dollars, I don't know how they're paying for it, to have this group actively involved in this challenge to the appeal that this gas company is launching. Because there are implications for us in terms of our tax revenues if this assessment goes way down. So that's my point. I don't know how we could provide some direction to staff if there is support. Councillor Black, on this item? No support?
Yes.
We
Yeah,
may-
sorry, I didn't get my machine on here.
It's okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't support it. MPAC is taking care of it. Why would anybody else want to get involved in it? I don't understand. It's like an additional expense. That's their job to ensure that, the assessments are appropriate, and they will, they'll take care of it. So any additional money being thrown at it, I don't see it as any value whatsoever. And then, again, where does that end? Start and stop. Pipelines or farms, commercial, it's their job. Let them do it.
Okay, any other comments? Councillor Columbus.
Yes, I have the paperwork here on that, and I did raise this at budget time. I don't
Yes.
think you're here, Councillor Oliver.
Right.
But it talks about our CVA under appeal, the value of it is $17,048,000, whereas Haldeman County is $26,344,000, and Chatham-Kent, $30,570,000, and Bayham, which is a small municipality in Elgin, $18,480,000. So the numbers are there, and I think Mr. Ford's letter kind of outlined, it didn't really say we should support it, I don't believe.
No, it didn't, and I acknowledge that, but he also indicated, I think, in his response to me that our staff are looking into possibly becoming more involved with this group in future appeals. And my only point was, given this one is current right now, it seems timely that we might throw our support for them. But I mean, if there's no support around the table for it, that's fine with me. I just am raising it as an issue. Not seeing any further direction, so we'll, yep. Councillor Brown.
I understand what you're saying, and I do support you, or support it. My concern is that this is just gas lines,
Yes.
right? Does not Bell, do they not operate on the same system? Don't we get a revenue from them for all their lines on the, what do you call that, a tax, flat tax or something?
Payment in lieu of taxes.
Exactly. Now, can they challenge something like that, or is that a...
Through you, Mr. Chairman, a payment in lieu of taxes has got its own set of rules. And I'm not sure how Bell Telephone's properties are assessed or how their lines or anything are assessed. I'd have to go back and get Sue to give me some information about that. But if it's done by a payment in lieu of taxes, there isn't really, quote, an assessment and a tax rate applied to it. Most government agencies pretty much pay whatever they feel like paying for payments in lieu of taxes. MPAC provides them with the assessment is, for example, on federal properties, MPAC provides them with the assessment is, they say thank you very much, and they pay us a grant, a payment in lieu of taxes. Is it equal to their assessed value times the tax rate? No. Is it close? No. It's a number that they calculate themselves, and they say, here's your payment in lieu of taxes.
Well, I think it's important with the gas, because I'm going to reiterate what happened a few years back. It used to be all the work that was done on the road allowances was free. If we had to move a gas line, we didn't have to pay a nickel. Now, they fought that over the years, and we have to, and Lee can correct me now, if you move a gas line that's X number of years old, you got to pay for it. You know, like we have to pay to move their service. So I do think it's important to watch what happens, or at least support what happens here. That impact does fight it. So I'll leave it at that.
Any other speakers? Any other? Okay, I think we'll, I'll take that under advisement. Seeing no further business, I think we are adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you, John.